Welcome to the Phil Taylor Jones Show. We're more than happy to have you with us once again as we go on an adventure into the crazy world of American politics. And it seems to be ever changing with every single day that passes. I'm Phil Taylor Jones, your host, and we're going to be taking a look at something that was totally sleazy and creepy and shouldn't have been done by Mr. or Governor, if you will, Andrew M. Cuomo. He seemingly doesn't understand that he's just a little governor of a state, not, a president or a prime minister of a nation. He issues an executive order number 157 to be exact, directing state entities to divest all public funds supporting the boycotts, divestment, and sanctions campaign against Israel. The first in the nation action will ensure that no agency, state, agency or authority engages in or promotes any investment activity that would further the harmful and discriminatory Palestinian-backed boycotts, division, or divestment, and sanctions, or is it commonly known BDS, campaign in New York State. The governor made the announcement at the Celebrate Israel parade. Oh boy. Well, as you know, I'm going to try to control my temper because as many times here of late when we do these shows, I'm prone to lose it. Okay, the good people there of New York State voted to have this idiot, Cuomo, run their state, do things that would benefit their state, correct things that are wrong in their state, and therefore take care of things in their entirety in their state. Now, we know that in New York, there are many problems, as are all over the United States. There are housing problems, there are transportation problems, there are law enforcement problems, there are ecological problems, there are infrastructure problems, there are employment problems. New York, as many states here in the United States, is not without its own homegrown problems. So why would someone that is trusted, has been elected to solve New York's problems, sticking his nose in Israel's problems? Like Israel is so great. I don't see the big push for Israel. They've been sponging off the United States for I don't know how many years, scamming us for all our money. And what do we get out of it? I say this. Israel and Palestine have been fighting their own problems for as long as there's been an Israel and a Palestine. I don't see why we have to get hooked up in that crap. We got too many problems of our own. And this brings me to saying this. Whenever we step into a voting venue, we better be damn careful of who we cast that vote for. Because as you can see, these people are foreign washed. They only care about foreigners. It's not bad enough that they have to come over to our country and infiltrate and infest our country. No, we got to, invest our time and effort in them. Why the mad dash to pay for Israel's crap? Let them pay for themselves. They got big bad Bibi Netanyahu. He goes around, thrusting out his chest like, a neighborhood pigeon. Let him fight his own damn battles. We got enough problems over here, and this is where Cuomo's attention should be, Mr. Idiot Cuomo. Nix upon you, pal. The people there in New York, they voted you in to take care of their problems, and you go tooting off miles and miles away to some other country who should be taking care of their own battles. What an idiot you are. Boy. I'm telling you, things are falling apart in our own country, and it's at the hands of these dumbass politicians that don't know their asses from a hole in the ground and couldn't care a flying fuck about anybody but what they want to do and what they want to, carry through to get their 15 minutes of fame. It's ridiculous. Now, on to some other interesting developments. Well, I guess nobody was holding their breath waiting for bastard, the chief muckety-muck of fuckety-ups, to endorse Slithery Clinton. Oh boy, and did you see it? Hear the way he was making this speech? He was as phony as a $15 bill. I mean, come on. What a jackass. Oh, God. Oh, I don't know if anyone is more qualified to be the office president than Hillary Clinton Hillary. I know because I've been a president. You haven't been anything but a screw-up and a jackass. So, yeah, she's qualified to do that. And then, Donald Trump came on with what he had to say. And then she comes back with the class A1 comeback of all times. Delete your account. I would have come back and said, delete your life, you worthless piece of crap. Anyway, you think about this thing. Jill Stein was on a program on telly yesterday, and I have to say I love this woman. I am not at all against a female being president. I'm just against Slithery Clinton being president. She's had her turn. She's had her turn on many occasions, and she came up wanting. So why would you want a shitbag like that in office anyway? And anybody that would want to follow that has got serious mental problems. Okay, now, Jill was saying that we need to have a much better voting system in this country than we do. You look at this campaign and how it's turned out. Many people here in California turned out to vote as independents because they didn't do their homework and got turned away. This is lunacy. You should be able to vote for any legitimate candidate of your choice, and that's it. If you want to vote independent and you want to vote for, say, Dr. Jill Stein, it should be there. If you want to go in as a Republican and vote for Donald Trump, it should be there. If you want to go in and vote for Slithery Clinton, it should be there. Any appropriate, legitimate candidate should be voted for. But oh no, it's different. It's different as the states that it's in. We all have backup plans, or most of us have got common sense. Would like to have a backup plan. Okay, now let's just say you're a Trump supporter, and Trump doesn't make it. You should have been able to vote for another presidential candidate, as is done in some states, so that if your person of choice, of first choice, doesn't make it, then your support can fall to that second choice. It's too fragmented. It needs to be pulled together. But what are politicians doing? They're looking to help Israel, or help this country, or help that country. And this bastard, I hope other governors follow, what I've done. I hope no other governors followed what you did, you jackass, because you didn't have any business doing that in the first place. You're supposed to be there taking care of the New Yorkers. What frightens me is this idiot that we've got here in California, Moonbeam, Jerry Brown, with his pitiful ass. He might just follow suit with his other jackass in New York. That's why it is imperative that we know who we're voting for to the best of our ability and cast that vote and hope for the best. Because you never know what you're going to get. But, we've been taken out of it so much so we go in and cast a little ballot. One, we don't even know if it gets there because of these idiots that they have at these polling places. Two, when it does actually get to the place to be counted and what have you, we don't know what goes on there. We honestly don't know. And it's just a shame that we can't trust our own country to make sure that the most precious thing that we can do in our country, to vote, is actually being counted as it should be. And that in and of itself is shameful. Going over to Bernie Sanders. If I had been Bernie Sanders, and old bastard invited me to the White House to talk with him, I would have told him to fuck off. Pure and simple. So I know what you're up to. I know what you want to do, and it ain't happening. So I'm not coming to your stupid White House. You go jump off the nearest bridge you can find. Fuck you, pal, because I know what you're up to. You want me to, one, suspend my campaign. Two, you want me to bow down to Slithery Clinton and have all the people that follow me bow down to Slithery Clinton. That ain't happening. I'd rather see Donald Trump in there than to see Hillary Clinton in there, because that woman and that stupid bitch that was the head of the Democratic National Committee worked against me on every turn, nip and tuck, trying to sway the votes and sway the attention to Slithery Clinton, even holding some of the most coveted debates on a Sunday night right smack up against sporting events. And people love their sporting events more than they love politics. So, I mean, this was planned. And the way that all of these super delegates are put into place to cheat and support Slithery Clinton. So I would have told him to fuck off. You don't get the chance to meet with me. I have nothing to say to you, because you're a creep just like she is. And if you expect me to kiss her ass the way she kissed your ass when you got into the presidency after you slaughtered her during the campaign, then you got another thing coming, you muzzy supporting bastard. I'm not supporting that bitch. As I said, I would much rather see Donald Trump in office than to support her or have my supporters go to her. Pure and simple. But he caved. I don't like that about Sanders. He's going around patting him on the back and smiling with him. And all they're trying to do is stick a knife in Sanders' back and twist it. I wouldn't have gone for that. So, Bernie, boo on you, pal. You screwed up. Sucking up under old bastard. And Slithery. Yeah, I'll support Slithery. I'll support it, but I'm not gonna back down from my fight. You shouldn't have backed down by going there and sucking up them bastards in the first place. What kind of man are you? Talking about feel the burn. I think the fire went out of the burn. Come on. No jerks. Do your homework, people. All of this stuff that they're coming up with about Trump or anybody else. Now, let's just suppose, for the sake of supposing, that it wasn't Trump in the seat. Let's just say it was one of the other Reslugglicans. Maybe their fair-haired boy, would they be saying that they got to defeat Marco Rubio? Yeah, you bet your ass they're going to say that. But they're saying it even more so with Donald Trump, because they, meaning the Democrats, have always been a smear and fear group. They want to smear Donald Trump. They want to smear and they want to make you fearful of him. Now they're coming up with, he had over 3,200 or 3,500 lawsuits against him in the past 30 years. How many has Slithery Clinton had? Did they say anything about that? No. They're saying that some of his jobs and things that he has in his casinos, hotels, golf courses, whatever, are under scrutiny by the Labor Department because he cheated people from having overtime or paying them a full minimum wage or cutting their benefits of permanency and all of that. Okay, there's this Clinton Foundation. I'm sure that Slithery and her blowjob husband and her stupid daughter are not the only ones running the Clinton Foundation. How many lawsuits have been levied against that? How much are they in tow to the Labor Department for illegal practices there? Never say anything. This is a democratic controlled media, and they coddle and they sweetsy handle the Democrats while they try to tear apart and make you fearful of the Reslugglicans. Slithery Clinton is nothing but a hypocritical bitch. All the stuff that she's talking about, she's fearful of what Donald Trump has done, she has already done. There have been Central American countries that were in terrible strife because of shit that she pulled. Crap that she went down there and mismanaged and got those people in trouble. And then when they wanted to come here as refugees, she said to bar the door. We don't want them here. We can't have them here. Don't let them in. a lot of stuff that she's talking about what Donald Trump has done as far as these buzzies are concerned. She was one of the forefront ones out there yelling it and screaming it while her husband was in office. And then turn around and close the door and schmooze with them because they have money. This libelous bitch will crawl into anybody's bed that offers her money. Count on it. Wall Street, your street, my street, as long as she can get money, she will jump in bed with them. She's that kind of slut. Look at all the money she's gotten from speeches on Wall Street. And nobody knows the full story, but yet they'll chomp at the bit because Donald Trump hasn't turned over his tax returns. If I were Donald Trump, I'd say, I'll turn over your tax return, my tax returns when all of you turn over yours. He put out his manifesto that all are required to do when they're running for president. That should suffice. They're playing a game of nitpick, and it's ridiculous. It's time for this crap to stop and start focusing on the issues. But I don't think we can do that because we have the worst political system in the world, and it's coming to the forefront even now as I speak because of all of that crap that's going on here. Anybody who is under indictment by the FBI and any other agency should not, and I reiterate, not be running for president of the United States. This cow is bringing scandal upon scandal upon scandal to the White House with her. The biggest and most heinous is the 4 American lives lost in Benghazi. And that's what you want to embrace as a president? Okay, yeah, perhaps Donald had some financial troubles with this college that he had, but that in no matter of means can compare to the loss of 4 American lives. As I've said before in other shows, I can see those 4 people in my mind's eye, seeing the headlights coming or seeing the trucks coming, saying, yes, they're coming to save us. And then when they start or heard them shooting, then they say, oh, good Lord, we're in deep shit. They're coming to kill us. And they had no other recourse. And she knew about it. She saw. She did nothing. And that's what you want to put your faith in for president? Then you've got to be the biggest goddamn idiot in the world. This cow is nothing but scum. Pure and simple. From her blowjob husband to her stupid daughter and to herself, they're nothing but a scummy, nasty bunch of cunts that shouldn't even be anywhere near American politics. You bet your ass I'd rather see Donald Trump in there. And I would hope that if he had to pick a running mate, or he has to pick a running mate, no doubt about that, but I would hope that he or some of his people, and if they're seeing this show, check out Dr. Jill Stein. If you don't want Dr. Ben Carson, try to pick Dr. Jill Stein. This woman is amazing. Go to her website, I believe it's Jill 2016, and read what she has to say. The woman is truthful to a fault. She said we need to step back from this lesser evil politics that we've been practicing. And the exec has confirmed it's Jill2016.com. Go there. Is it .com? Yeah. Go there. Check her out. I mean, this woman is dynamite. You know, she's saying that we don't need to do this. A lot of people are going to vote for Hillary Clinton because they don't like Donald Trump, and vice versa. We don't need that. We need to have people that are voting for people that believe in these people wholeheartedly and can get behind what they are trying to do to help the country. If you look at Slithery Clinton stuff, she's preaching the same old rhetoric and the same old crap of oh bastard. Nobody wants that, a continuation of his crap, because he's done nothing for America. And what little bit that he may have done that was good has been so far overshadowed by the shit that he's pulled that it's almost non-existent. So, you look at what this Cuomo bastard is doing. Politics, degradation of this nation, stupid ass governmental idiots, fucking up everything. We need to be super careful and super diligent in who we put in these political offices. Because if we're not careful, just like this Cuomo fucker, it can come back and bite us in the ass. And I'll go over to the exec and see what he has to say about this, and then we'll close it out.
Well, as always, I'm in a full agreement with you about these very stupid actions by a lot of political people, starting off with the governor of New York, of course. In my opinion, he kind of represents the whole state, and his executive action, or should I say stupid action, to support someone else over his own people, which is what politics usually do, or does. Politicians usually do, excuse me. It covers a broad band of the whole state, and that's not really fair. I'm pretty sure that not 100% of New York actually feels the same way, and that's not very fair of him to go in there and claim, I'm speaking for you, and this is how we all feel. Anybody who doesn't feel that way, we're banning against you, or whatever the phrase he used was. How do you have all these problems and you're not going to help your own people, and then try to support someone else's cause all the way in another foreign country that has nothing to do with the United States, let alone New York? It's really idiotic, which is, par for the course for politicians. And as far as this Slithery Hillary Clinton goes, as I was speaking with you yesterday, saying, about the statement that Bastard made about supporting Hillary and saying that she was one of the most qualified candidates for presidency ever. What's more scary than what they're saying is that they actually believe it. And he's saying like he actually did a good job, and he has a good position to stand upon saying what he's saying. Anything that these Democrats do, they've always been screwed up the nation. And what's good that I like also about Jill Stein is that she was on that show you were speaking of, and mentions that one party, and she was speaking of Republicans, or actually the Democrats. She was speaking about the Democrats. They'll go far out of their way to say that the Republicans aren't doing things right, but then they don't want to acknowledge that they've done wrong too. So she is acknowledging that both parties do wrong, and possibly her party could do wrong. Anybody's willing to admit fault, I'm sure she would. And I do like her plan, and I actually went to that website. If you search in Jill Stein 2016, instead of actually typing the website, she'll give you one of the links. You'll have top stories if you use Google search, that is. Jill Stein for president will be the second result. The third result will be our plan, Jill Stein for president. I clicked on that, and it actually does have a very interesting and provocative statement. I'll read it off right now. My power to the people plan creates deep system change, moving from the greed and exploitation of corporate capitalism to a human-centered economy that puts people, planet, and peace over profit. It offers direct answers to the economic, social, and ecological crises brought on by both corporate political parties, both. It empowers the American people to fix our broken political system and make real the promise of democracy. This plan will end unemployment and poverty, avert climate catastrophe, build a sustainable, just economy, and recognize the dignity and human rights of everyone in our society and our world. The power to create this new world is not just our hopes, it's not in our dreams, it is in our hands. Now, it's a very strong, statement there, and a very good action plan to have, while everybody else is just worried about uniting the party. Parties be damned, like you said before. It's about uniting the people, getting the people to have the power for once, like she says. And the way things are going in this world, we need something like that gives us the choice for once, not the politicians, because this democracy is just, as I was also saying to you yesterday, it's just a facade. It's there to supposedly let people think that they have the option to write to Congress, to call to Congress, to fax Congress, or any other part of the government, to complain about something that's not going your way, and thinking that they'll do something about it for you, when in fact they'll do whatever the hell they want for themselves, whatever gives them profit. So it's just a facade. You don't have any help. You don't have anybody out there looking out for you. They're looking out for themselves. Politics has always been crooked. Religion and politics are two bad subjects I usually refuse to speak about in public. But anyways, that's about all I can say about that. It's just ridiculous with this governor. Like you said, he's doing all this stuff when he has all these problems in his own state already. And in my personal opinion, if he likes the Israelis so much and doesn't want them to go through all this strife, then why doesn't he go in there and join them and let someone else take over and become a government that has New York's values at hand? Back over to you.
No, I was trying to cut you off. I was just agreeing with you. But no, surely.
It's done, actually.
These idiots don't seem to understand that we elect them to represent us, because it's kind of impossible for you to have millions and millions of people going up and shouting and doing all this. So we elect this small body to do our bidding. We don't need you going tooting off over 50 million miles somewhere else trying to solve somebody else's problems that they can't solve themselves. These Israelis and Palestinians have been fighting since biblical times. And I see Israel as being totally greedy. They want to give Palestinians what they want them to have with their attachments to them. Just give the people the damn land and let them live on it the way they want to live. But no, they got to be greedy and shifty. They don't need our money, but we keep just, hey, if you find a sucker, bump his head. And the United States is a sucker to many of these old nations that have been taking our money and using it against us. And it's time for them to stop. These countries have money. Israel's got plenty of money. Saudi Arabia's got plenty of money. They got money's mama. So why are we giving them our money? Those dollars could be spent here in this country. And for those of you who don't believe Donald Trump when he says that, you're idiots, because that's where our money needs to be. America first. I am totally behind that, because I'm sick of America giving our birthright away to these damn foreigners, both in our country and in theirs. It's time for that shit to stop. Honestly. And then this Cuomo bastard. He's proud. I'm proud to be the first one to do this. Nobody cares about your stupid pride, you bastard. Why don't you fix the problems in New York, or as the exec alluded to, get the fuck out of our country and go to Israel and have the New Yorkers elect somebody to New York's top post that will do the job that they elected them to do, you jackass. And with that said, I'll go on and close out the show. I think the exec has another little tidbit to add.
And before we do end this, I did think about something else. I think you alluded to something of similar nature about these different parties that you should be able to vote for. When I did vote, when you did vote, there was no independent party people up there, just the three candidates.
No, that's the way it is in California.
And to have an independent party, if you don't want to be a Republican or Democrat.
Right. Well, see, that's what I was saying. It needs to be uniform so that it's the same in every state you go to. A lot of people don't know, people that like first-time voters, they don't know. I think in one of the shows that we did that was leading up to the June 7th primary, I tried to make it very poignant, and very direct, that you need to have your paperwork in order. Know what you're doing before you go to your venue to vote. This is not one of those free-for-all states where you can just go in and vote for the candidate of your choice. This is one of those either-or states. And see, that's what Sanders is pissed off about, even for the California primary, because systematically, if you kind of look through the Democratic, primaries, those states where it was kind of a free-for-all, he beat the shit out of Hillary Clinton. But the states that were either-or, she mostly came out the victor. I think he won one or two, but she won them all because it was either or. You either were for Republicans or you either were for Democrats, and that needs to stop.
You're right about this unification. There's too many facets of the independent parties. There's Libertarian, there's Tea Party, there's Green Party.
Well, Tea Party is part of the Republicans.
My mistake. But they need to have them all combined. Jill Stein and I guess maybe others in her party are going around actually talking to Bernie Sanders, trying to get him to work together with them so they can kind of have a plan together, at least to have him take a look at her stuff, and he's ignoring her.
Yeah, he's too.
What they need to do.
He's too in with the Democrats.
What they need to do is actually unify themselves and create an officially recognized independent national committee.
I don't know why.
So that they can be recognized on the ballots. Nobody can vote for her.
They've been around longer than 71, but it's sort of escaping right now, whether it's the Libertarian Party or the Green Party. One of them came around in about 1971. That's 40 years. If you can't organize yourself in 40 years, then what the hell are you thinking? You know, and I'm sure Dr. Jill Stein, she just can't do it all by herself. But the powers that be should have, you know, banded together and created something for themselves.
There should be 3 parties.
You can't depend on these greedy bastards to let you in the door. I mean, God. Anyway, we've bent your ear down long enough, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to let you go about your day. This show is being recorded on a Friday, so we are headlong off into the weekend. And I know you got your plans out there. Have a good one. Keep it safe. Keep it happy and fun. And watch out for these nutty politicians, because, you know, they can do anything crooked to put a crick in the pump handle. So take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And we'll see you next time here on the Phil Taylor Jones Show. Bye-bye.